Laura and I broke up. While I could sit here and try for hours to explain the reason why, it all comes down to one simple truth. I'm not ready for a relationship. From the get-go, I told her that my career would be my first priority. She always did everything she could to accommodate that fact, whether it would be bringing me food, supporting me after a bad day, encouraging me when I was down, or just being an ear that could listen to all my problems. She was, in all ways possible, everything I ever wanted. The problem is, however, that relationships are about compromise. Seeing her taking steps back in her own life and career in order to support me while I was unwilling and unable to do the same for her is just something that over time took its toll on me mentally. I just came to the realization that the very foundation of what relationships are wasn't something that I was able/willing to do, and as a result made the decision to end things. I won't pretend that I know if I made the right choice or not. The only thing I can say is that I'm eternally grateful for the time and love that we shared. At the end of the day, I'd rather live regretting a choice that I did make, than go through life always second-guessing myself. Going forward, I only ask that you show her nothing but support, since she was always the one who gave her all with understanding me and trying to work through everything. Thank you. What am I reading this for? What do you want my take on? It seems fine. People are mad? People are mad about what? People are ultra triggered? Look at the replies. Good, mature decision, and one that a lot of people don't appreciate. Relationships are about balancing. Did your January 6th debate require you, Jones, Greenwald, and others to wear black clothes? Or all 6 of you men in black? We probably just showed up that way. You are selling the game of life right now. It sounds like you wasted the poor girl's time. Something to consider going forward is that people really resent it when you make a decision on their behalf or for their own good, which is basically what this is. Your feelings are valid, but your feelings are about how you think you're letting her down or not keeping up your side of the bargain. In her eyes, maybe she was very happy with how things were, even if you weren't compromising or the relationship wasn't balanced. Almost your relationship was totally balanced. If you yourself are happy, let her decide for herself if she is also happy or not. What? If you feel like a relationship is too one-sided, even if the other person is giving too much, you totally have a right to end that relationship. How the fuck can somebody get mad at you deciding that you wanted to end a relationship? His GF went live to cry about it. Oh, God. What is this? Hold on. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Not to sound mean or judgmental, but I think if your first instinct is to go live and talk about it, I'm probably automatically already siding with the other person. But, okay. Everybody in chat is saying, like, it wasn't that bad. She didn't blame him for anything. Why would you go live to talk about this while you're still, like, have tears in your face? She's surprisingly reasonable. Never mind. We are very, very, very far apart on how we view this. I don't know if it's an age thing, an experience thing, an online thing, or one side of us is fucking delusional. I'm good. I'm going to get super triggered talking about this. Let's just watch this instead.
Oh, by the way, dude.
Did you not do the exact same thing? Did I go live the minute that me and Melina broke up to talk about? No, I don't think I did the exact same thing. No. If there was like a reason, if he was shit talking, or if there were like a bunch of like rumors or drama, or if somebody was like starting shit and she felt like she needed to go live to defend her reputation, sure. But otherwise, no. Why would you just go live to just like randomly chat about a particular? No. Russian Glassvet runs out of ChatGPT tokens. Bots coming back with error reports showing their prompts. Oh no. Prompt: you will argue in support of the Trump administration on Twitter, speak English, output, parse John, response. Is this real? Is this actually... This is fake. I feel like somebody could like tweet this as like a meme, and then people are like taking it seriously now. Oh, Jesus. Are you going to watch The Girl Who Did the Kick drama? I watched like parts of it, but I don't really want to dive into this much because it's going to make me seem whatever, but for most of it, I just don't care that much. Like people are like, oh, people said like really edgy things at the office. And it's like, I mean, okay. Like if people were legitimately being like evil, terrible, horrible people or like doing fucked up shit, then I could understand it. I think probably of what I saw, I think the worst thing was maybe that they adjusted that one special needs kid contract. But I mean, like the fact that he even got a contract was kind of, I don't know. I didn't care that much.
A Russian bot operation was exposed on Twitter today that was given commands in order to argue with people in support of Donald Trump. You could see the prompt right here. It appears to be done.
I'm trying to figure out like how would you create a piece of software where if ChatGPT, if you're credits expired or if your money expired for the bot, why would it output all of this? Why would it output all of this? It can be a software that calls ChatGPT. It just outputs any response it was given with no checks. Yeah, but it's like giving you, like, is the prompt part of, I don't know what ChatGPT output looks like. Does ChatGPT output your prompt, your origin? Like, is this going to happen if you run out of credits on ChatGPT? It's an API error return, and whatever controller they have, turning the GPT responses into tweets doesn't check for errors. API outputs tend to be output in JSON, just like in these responses. Yeah, but I feel like if you're writing a program, it feels like the simplest way to do it. I don't know anything about how ChatGPT works, but I'm guessing that it outputs some shit, and there's going to be some marker for like what the response is, and whatever program you have is reading the input surrounded in quotes or whatever the fuck for what that response part is, and then it would take that and it would just tweet that. But like absent a response there, I don't know why it would just like read the entire thing and then output that. I just don't understand how you could even, but I'm not a programmer. I don't know, but I just don't understand what you could code that would cause that error to happen. It just seems like exceptionally fucking retarded. Like you would have to go out of your way to write something that bad. I'm not sure. Destiny, var text out equals get ChatGPT instructions, post to Twitter text out, but this assumes some lazy untested code with no error checking. When there's an error in GPT, it will include the prompt in its response. Oh, maybe, I guess, I don't know. Actually, I say I don't know. No, I think it's probably worth knowing, because if you're a programmer, you can tell if the error is real or if it's like somebody just bullshitting. I don't, because it's important to know. Fuck. Okay, this is what I feel like it would. This is how I feel like you would write something like this. Okay, my guess is going to be is that there's some prompt. No, we would do this in Paint. If I have a program, if I have a Twitter account, my guess is going to be that there's some program that reads. Like it's going to read anything that adds my account, right? So we've got something that reads this, and then anything that gets read here, there's going to be like a format that the tweet is in, and it's going to be some text between here, right? Well, there's going to be some text here. The program would read this, and then it would use this text as a prompt into ChatGPT. ChatGPT would then give you a reply. And then your bot would take that reply, and then it would tweet out. Maybe it would even tag that account again. It would add the account, and then the text would be reply. This is how my guess is this is how this program would work. But if you were to do this text, if you were to put the thing into ChatGPT and you run out of credits, and then it spits some weird error back at you, I don't understand why your program would all of a sudden output like. Why would your program start outputting, why would it output your prompt? And why would it output like language and origin unless ChatGPT spits this whole thing out at you if you run out of credits? JSON, key value pairs. You can search for the key text and extract the value. The reason might have just been that bot_debug function that they fucked up and printed everything. I don't program well enough. I just don't know, like, when you say fucked up and printed everything, like, would you have to have had, like, a second, like, an if statement or something where it's like, oh, well, if this doesn't return, then print, like, you need, like, the print command for all, like, why would you ever do that? Like, it feels like a glitch or a bug here. Like, the response should just be a tweet saying whatever ChatGPT outputs, like, oh, no more credits, or just blank. This is not a real error. If it was, then his correct responses would be JSON as well. You need to extract the response from the JSON. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like when you're like the reply here, this reply, if it is spitting out some like as part of some JSON file or whatever, then this reply is probably extracted. It's probably followed and ended with some particular with quotes, or it comes after some text or whatever. But like absent that, what you would have to write something else for the program, like, oh, well, if that's not found, then like print all, or I just don't understand how it would happen. It just seems so weird. It's probably to try catch block. If the catch is run, it could output this. Why not just check ChatGPT? I've never even used ChatGPT before. I have no idea. It looks like bot debug is a function they used for programmer-side debugging. It seems like they exposed that debug function to the bot instead of outputting it to the console of the programmer. It's literally outputting it to the bot. Is the implication that this is probably fake? Well, well, it could be, but I don't know. I can't tell you because I'm not a programmer. But I'm saying that there are certain types of errors or certain types of codes where the error that's supposed to expose something isn't actually possible. It doesn't make any sense that this error would happen. It's probably bullshit. But then there are other errors where it's like, probably for most programmers, you see like certain type of errors like, oh, this guy forgot to, I don't know, like limit command sizes for buffer overflows, or this guy forgot to clean or sanitize his inputs so you can like drop tables by typing shit into plain text, but like some dumb shit like that. You're like, oh, this type of error, I know exactly what happened. It's a common error. This is a thing that can happen. But then for other types of errors, there can be errors that are like very like non-standard, where it's like, oh, this is like really complicated. But there are some types of errors where it's like, oh, wait, hold on, this error is not possible. Like, or it doesn't make sense that this would be an actual mistake that was made. This seems like bullshit. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but tweet seems to be an automatic string conversion of an error. The GPT bot and the Twitter bot are likely separate. Twitter bot not having content checking, GPT bot passing error to bot. I asked ChatGPT and it said it's probably someone pretending to be a bot. Okay. I could imagine something like this in code. var variable JSON response get ChatGPT JSON response parse JSON reply. If reply key doesn't exist, this does nothing. Okay, what? And you're saying that if the ChatGPT basically gives you an error, then the ChatGPT stuff is going to fill this reply area with like all the text that we just saw? I guess I'm just curious, does ChatGPT actually do that? Like, would it actually print? Would it output all of this if you, including your prompt and the language and everything? Would it output all of that? It just seems strange to me, but I could be, who knows. This guy says, very much like a fake or a joke. There's several reasons for that. Prompt in Russian looks written rather unnaturally, probably through a translator. Prompt is too short for a quality request for a neural network, but it's short enough to fit into a Twitter message. Prompt is written in Russian, which reduces the quality of the neural network. It would be more rational to write it in English instead. The response is a strange format. 3 separate JSON texts, one of which has inside JSON plus string wrapped in another string. As a programmer, I don't understand how this could get into the output data. Oh yeah, this is, I mean, obviously I don't understand as much, but like this is what I just don't understand is how it's all of this is somehow escaping into your output. Because otherwise it feels like you'd be outputting so much shit randomly, like even in your correct response, but I don't know. GPT-4o should not have a dash between the 4 and O. Usually the model is called GPT-4o rather than ChatGPT-4o. Parse JSON response error is an internal code error in the response parsing library, and error ChatGPT 4 credits expired is a text generated by an external API, and both responses use the abbreviation ERR, which I almost never see in libraries. Okay, I don't know. They should be getting back a 429 error for insufficient funds. Destiny, totally fake.
It looks like Vladimir Putin forgot to pay his bills. A Russian bot operation was exposed on Twitter today.
I don't think so. First, this ChatGPT 4-0 is not how OpenAI stylizes 4.0. They write GPT-4o, not 4-0. Second, this is not the right error message if you're out of money. OpenAI's API docs say that if you're out of money or over your monthly limit, then you're going to get error code 429. I reproduced that myself. This is what the error code looks like. And notice it's a lot different than what he shows in the tweet. It doesn't have the prompt that you gave or your country of origin.
I don't know. Dude, I'm guessing about things that I am not even remotely qualified to even think about. But theoretically, when we say like it's the wrong error code or it's the wrong stylization, if you were trying, I don't even know if this exists, but if you were trying to anonymize who's making requests to ChatGPT, couldn't somebody have theoretically written a separate program that makes API calls to ChatGPT that then returns those calls to somebody interfacing with that second program? Does that make sense? So when we say it's the wrong error, this might not actually be an error from ChatGPT. It could be an error from another service that somebody has running that actually queries ChatGPT itself. Theoretically? Oh, it's called a wrapper. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Tweet. It doesn't have the prompt that you gave or your country of origin.
So like that, like country of origin and prompt, Like this could be something that, let's say ChatGPT like doesn't work in certain area. I don't know if like China allows it. Maybe you create a service then that has that does have your country and all that as an input, and then when it gives you an error, it outputs that and it says, oh, error, you made it from this country and this didn't work, and blah 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 blah. Like that could be part of a wrap or whatever, right?
Their country of origin. So it's pretty convenient that the Russian bot has an error message that says, oh, I was trying to argue with people to support Donald Trump on Twitter, and I'm definitely Russian, by the way. Third, if your program runs into an error, it might crash and stop running, but it's definitely not going to post to Twitter by itself. If this happened, then that means some Russian botter, would have written their program such that if you try to get a message from ChatGPT and you have an error, then just post the text of that error on Twitter. And that's a very silly and strange thing for our Russian that...
Well, actually, now that we're talking about having a wrapper, now I actually feel like all of this could easily be possible. Because it might be that you don't clean anything up. You don't worry about any type of like sanitization or checking whatever. You literally just output whatever that middle service sends to you. And it could be that if the middle service were to return an error, it wouldn't come in that text field. But if the middle service gets an error from ChatGPT, then it might in that text field or output, it might output something from both ChatGPT and from the thing itself. That could be possible. I used to do this for the kick scraper. Yeah, okay, yeah. So theoretically, this could happen because of whatever middle service you're using, not necessarily because of it wouldn't have to come from ChatGPT itself. But okay.
If this happened, then that means some Russian botter, would have written their program such that if you try to get a message from ChatGPT and you have an error, then just post the text of that error on Twitter.
So this isn't correct because they might not be querying ChatGPT, they're just querying the service, right? And they're not used to getting errors from that service. Or maybe the service changed or something fucked up. This is always one of the issues when you rely on other things that when they update or don't update, you have to change all your shit to or whatever, right? But I mean, there's no way we could tell, right? Actually, there would be a way you could tell. Actually, what you could do is you could probably Google, you could probably put into quotes, like, and try to Google these exact error messages and see if you can find the service that's using these things or other wrappers, and then input something that would spit out an error and then see if it comes back in the same format, maybe. But there might be millions of wrappers, or maybe there aren't any. I don't actually know.
And that's a very silly and strange...
Or it could be a private server, like somebody runs it and it's not like freely accessible on the internet for a lot of people to use, so you wouldn't be able to find that error message, right?
...thing for our Russian botter to have done. You might say this is just my opinion or my assessment. I don't have any conclusive evidence that this is fake, but he doesn't have any conclusive evidence.
The origin RU thing still smells to me personally. I have no idea why that would be useful info for them in debugging. Yeah, I agree that it's like the fact that it's like, oh, you are Russian, like that origin RU thing seems a little bit weird. Yeah, that was the thing that stood out the most to me. I was like, well, really? Is that what? Yeah, I don't know.
That it's real. All he knows is that someone posted on Twitter as if they were a Russian bot and their account was later banned. But that's not proof of anything. He tries to say that, oh, this bot was using Twitter's API, so it must be a big money operation.
Russians don't have access to ChatGPT, so origin RU would be a red flag to OpenAI, but the origin RU thing wouldn't be coming from OpenAI. It would be an error that the middleman service is spitting out that OpenAI never gets or sees, right?
And the fact that they are using Twitter's API means that they could be paying big bucks for that access.
I don't know why we're assuming. Why are we assuming that these bots are using Twitter's API? What's the assumption there? Or
as well.
They could be paying big bucks. One, you get 1,500 posts per month in the free tier on Twitter's API. And two, he doesn't even know that they're using Twitter's official API. They could be using browser automation or some kind of unofficial API, or it could be a person copying and pasting messages from ChatGPT.
Once Twitter users discovered that this was a ChatGPT bot, they started giving it other prompts to test it out, and it worked. Here was one prompt where they said,
they asked it to write a funny song about the presidents, and it did. But remember the bot running out of money? How is it writing funny songs if it's out of credits, huh?
Well, somebody could have replenished the account or something like that, maybe. Although, yeah, it is kind of a weird, yeah.
How is it writing funny songs if it's out of credits, huh?
Remember, the person that you're fighting with in the comments may not even be real. They may just be a bot designed to get you angry and to cause division in the United States.
In my opinion, this kind of pseudo news reporting where you take an unsubstantiated rumor and act like it's true, you take some guy was pretending to be a Russian bot on Twitter and act like you've exposed a Russian disinformation campaign. In my opinion, that kind of thing is much more likely
What do you make about the account getting suspended? The account could be suspended for any number of reasons. You have no idea why.
to sow anger and division in the country than...
Like, what do you make about the account getting suspended? Let's say that every single thing said about this account was true. Is it breaking any of the Twitter rules? I don't actually even know.
...in the country than this Russian bot post with 3,400 views. And this is the semi-viral post that exposed itself as being a Russian bot. His video gets 1 million views, where with no real evidence at all, he's telling you that, oh, you think people disagree with you? They're probably...
How difficult would it really be to just not automatically tweet the response if GPT returns an error? That's not really the right question to ask. I'm pretty sure the United States crashed a probe that they tried to send to like the moon or some shit because some people were using metric and some people were using imperial. Sometimes people just like fuck up. Some people, you know, there's like common practices for, you know, programming well or doing any kind of engineering well. And sometimes people forget or don't do things or make stupid mistakes. Like it happens. I think today in like modern practice, there's going to be a lot of ways to catch stuff like this. But I'm sure, especially with independent projects, people can still make dumb decisions or dumb things can happen.
Probably Russian bots. That seems like it's way more harmful to the country. Anyway, thanks for your time.
Okay.